I had always been drawn to antiques, their weathered surfaces and mysterious histories speaking to me in a way that modern furnishings never could. So, when I stumbled upon a quaint little antique shop nestled in the heart of a forgotten town, I couldn't resist the urge to explore its hidden treasures. The shop was a dimly lit, cluttered haven of forgotten relics, their secrets locked away behind glass cabinets and dusty shelves. It was a place where time had stopped, and each item held a piece of history, a piece of someone else's life. My gaze wandered from one intriguing piece to another, until it settled on a grand, ornate mirror at the back of the shop. The mirror stood tall, its wooden frame adorned with intricate carvings of serpents and demons. It exuded an aura of opulence and malevolence that sent shivers down my spine. Approaching the mirror, I noticed the shopkeeper, an elderly man with hollow eyes and gnarled hands, watching me intently. "A curious choice, young one," he croaked, his voice filled with a knowingness that made me uneasy. "That mirror has a history, it does." I couldn't help but be drawn to the mirror's dark beauty, and I ignored the shopkeeper's ominous warning. As I gazed into the glass, I saw my reflection, distorted by the age and imperfections of the glass. But something else caught my eye, a faint, shadowy figure standing just behind my own reflection. I blinked, and the figure vanished. Intrigued and unnerved, I decided to purchase the mirror, despite the shopkeeper's warnings. He wrapped it carefully, his eyes filled with a mix of sorrow and foreboding. "May it bring you the knowledge you seek," he whispered cryptically as I left the shop. That night, as I hung the mirror in my bedroom, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had made a grave mistake. The room took on an eerie atmosphere, and the mirror seemed to shimmer with a life of its own. I dismissed my unease as mere superstition and prepared for bed. As I lay in the darkness, I couldn't help but feel the presence of the mirror, its gaze fixed upon me. My eyelids grew heavy, and I drifted into a fitful sleep filled with unsettling dreams. In these dreams, I was drawn into the mirror's depths, surrounded by a swirling, otherworldly darkness. The shadowy figure I had glimpsed before materialized before me, its eyes filled with an ancient and insatiable hunger. I awoke with a start, my heart racing and sweat-soaked sheets clinging to my body. It was just a dream, I told myself, trying to calm my racing thoughts. But the feeling of unease remained, and I couldn't shake the image of that shadowy figure. As the days passed, I became increasingly obsessed with the mirror. I would spend hours gazing into it, hoping to catch another glimpse of the mysterious figure. My reflection began to change, its eyes growing darker, its expression more sinister. It was as though the mirror was slowly drawing me in, consuming me. One evening, as I stood before the mirror, I heard a whisper, faint and distant. It seemed to come from the depths of the glass itself. "Help me," it pleaded, sending chills down my spine. I couldn't resist its call, and I pressed my hand against the mirror's surface. Suddenly, I was transported into a different realm, a shadowy, nightmarish world filled with twisted versions of reality. I was no longer in my bedroom, but standing in a desolate, decaying mansion. The air was heavy with the stench of decay, and the walls seemed to pulse with a sinister energy. Before me stood the shadowy figure, now more solid and menacing than ever. It reached out a spectral hand, its touch icy and clammy. "You released me," it hissed, its voice a chilling whisper that echoed in the empty halls. "Now you must help me." I was paralyzed with fear, unable to resist the figure's command. It led me through the mansion, showing me the horrors of its existence. It had been trapped within the mirror for centuries, its soul bound to the glass by a curse. It yearned for release, for vengeance against the one who had condemned it to this eternal torment. As I followed the figure deeper into the mansion, I discovered a hidden chamber filled with mirrors, each one containing trapped souls, each one with a story of suffering and despair. The figure explained that the mirrors were a gateway to a realm between worlds, a realm of darkness and chaos. The figure's plan was to use my body as a vessel to break the curse and free all the imprisoned souls. It wanted revenge against the one who had cursed it, a powerful sorceress who had sought to gain immortality at the cost of innocent lives. I had unknowingly become a pawn in its quest for vengeance. I had no choice but to cooperate, my own life now intertwined with the fate of the figure and the other trapped souls. The figure taught me ancient incantations and rituals, guiding me through a dark and treacherous path of magic. Each day, my reflection in the